Hello, everybody, and welcome to Noob Guiding Noob. We're back once again, apparently feeling sick.
Always sick. I can hear like the half echo if I like.
I can guarantee that the mic's not.
It can't pick it up, but like I can hear it. So I mean, but it's nothing I can do.
Yeah,
it's solid wall.
Well, you know what? One day we'll get donations. We'll get an actual mic.
Donations? No, we're just gonna buy them. They're not expensive.
No, not.
But like solid wall, insulated wall,
concrete.
Insulated wall. I think the concrete is probably the worst thing about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and those are just panels that you can just punch through, and it's an open ceiling.
These are actually okay because they're like not perforated, but like you know what I mean. They got the ridges and stuff like
they look like the fake popcorn.
Yeah,
ceiling.
that does not bounce sound that bad, but the concrete probably does.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But that doesn't matter. All right.
And,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Good.
Here we are. What is it? Episode 3. 3-ish.
This will be episode 3.
We'll assume episode 3.
I mean, if we're releasing in record order, then yes, this will be episode 3.
Well, if we're releasing in record order, we've already stated in episode 1 and 2 that they're episode 1 and 2.
See, there you go. So this is episode 3.
It's so bad.
And today we're going to be going back to Mass Effect.
Yeah, shock.
I love Mass Effect.
I know you do.
I told you that last time. We covered my favorite species, the Krogan, and now we get to cover my second favorite species, the Quarians.
No, let's get right into it then.
What, you want to learn about Tally?
No, let's get right into it. You want to do it right now? We can do it right now.
All right. I ain't complaining. So, as I mentioned last time, what?
Just checking.
Okay. Your eyes went wide for a moment. I was like, did I hit it like red or something?
No, I just wanted to check if the...
Gotcha. So, much like last time, and as I mentioned previously when we were covering Mass Effect, you really can't...
That's it, baby.
You can't cover one species in the galaxy without covering at least one other species.
Yeah.
And in the case of the Quarians, this is actually really important for people going into Mass Effect 4, which...
That's a good joke.
Listen, it hasn't been canceled yet, okay?
Nah, just everybody's leaving BioWare. Or left already.
Oh god, don't even get me started on that, dude.
I mean, Dreadwolf is done.
Yes, which like...
So, I mean, 4 is being made.
Yeah, it's just... BioWare has basically lost their entire Golden Era cast in terms of writers.
Yeah.
And that is really sad, and it really shows. I'm hoping Mass Effect 4 is better than Andromeda.
Yeah.
Which again, I still stand by Andromeda.
It's a game.
It had potential if they did like an Andromeda 2, and like they have the building blocks to expand on it, you know, and they could actually make it really interesting. But
gotcha.
Today we're talking about the Quarians and the Geth, which the Geth are a huge thing in Mass Effect 1, and supposedly they are once again a huge thing in Mass Effect 4. They're kind of going back to their roots.
The Geth are the synthetic robots?
Yeah, they're the robots that you fight.
Yeah, that aren't, yeah. They're fake.
And they were made by the Quarians. Before the Geth...
What are the Quarians?
You remember how Tally, like, always wears the suit?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Quarian. Tally is a Quarian.
Yeah, they look human.
Yeah, they've got like the backwards, or not, they don't actually have backwards legs, but like their femur kind of thing is curved backwards, which is neat.
Okay.
But otherwise they're basically just like skinny humans, which is actually like they technically have an exoskeleton.
Okay.
Similar to Turians, right? You know how Garrus has like the
hard
flaps and stuff on his face and whatnot.
Yeah.
Quarians apparently have a very similar structure for most of their body, but like if you're looking at their head and stuff, like it's almost human.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary underneath their masks. A little bit. I mean, they kind of got over it.
When the remake came out or whatever, people were like, oh, how dare she look like a human? It's like, guys.
Well, no. The thing is, they originally made her look like a human because they basically took a stock photo of a model or whatnot.
And put her on a picture frame?
Yeah, no, that was literally it. And then when the remake came out, they got rid of that.
And made it so her visor was...
Yeah, it looks a little...
transparent or clear so you can see her face.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, no, I thought it was fine. But a lot of people... Like, I'm a fan of the series. I'm not a fanatic of the series.
Yeah.
And I understand, people get upset about that, but whatever.
It's a video game.
But anyway, so The Quarians originally lived on their homeworld of Rannoch. Like I said, they're surprisingly similar to humans.
Yep.
A little bit shorter, slimmer. They apparently have different ears because they make a reference to the Quarian equivalent of ears.
Okay.
And this is something I found out while doing a little research earlier today. Apparently, they can see a little bit into the ultraviolet spectrum, like more than humans.
Does that help?
For them, actually, yes. So, like, their visors, what we see is just, like, that fog cloud or whatever of their face.
Yeah.
Apparently, they, like, always have a full-on heads-up display of things going on. We just can't see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
And that does help for, like, if you're thinking, like, tactical military stuff.
Yeah.
If you have that stuff on your screen, someone can look in on your screen and see that happening.
But for them, not.
No. Not unless you could see into that as well.
Gotcha.
And the other thing is they are a dextroprotein-based species. Which, the short thing you need to know about that is them and the Turians are the only two that are, like, we have DNA, they have something else, basically. Or, like, the RNA is different or something like that.
Okay.
They're genetically designed differently than any other species in the galaxy. And them and the Turians are the only ones that are like this. And the short version is they are allergic to literally everything. So, when you have a Quarian with you or a Turian with you and you're traveling with them, you have to get special rations for them because they cannot eat your food. They will have a violent and lethal allergic reaction.
Oh, that's...
For the record, we also have the same reaction to their food. Fun fact.
Specifically them or just all alien food?
No, specifically the dextroprotein. So specifically Turians and Quarians. Now, obviously, certain things like you don't want to be eating something that a Krogan eats. But and actually, it's funny. They make a comment on this. A Krogan on a dare drank Turian liquor, and he almost died.
Jesus.
Like, and we mentioned how tough Krogan are. Like, they have redundant systems.
If it's just that specific.
Yeah, this guy basically threw up one of his 4 stomachs to live. So the really neat thing about Rannoch is they don't have a whole bunch of microbes in their biosphere, meaning they don't get, like, bacterial infections.
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
It was actually something really neat about them. Instead, what they actually had, there was a lot of symbiote spores in their atmosphere, and so all the fauna on the planet, all the animals, and the Quarians, obviously, they actually evolved to incorporate these plants into their system, and the plants kind of ate what few microbes could harm them. It's a symbiotic relationship, right? Now, on the one hand, this was really cool. On the other hand, it will come up later as they never basically developed a proper immune system. And
they never had to deal with it.
Other than that, they were just a regular civilization like everyone else. But honestly, they were very much like the humans, with the small exception that they were a little bit more technologically focused.
Shock.
So like
every other goddamn alien race is more tech focused than human.
That's actually the thing. Like, Turians actually have, honestly, arguably less of a tech level in terms of when they first reached the rest of the galaxy. They were more military focused. The L-Corps, I think, were more of an agricultural kind of focused thing.
Oh, those like giant buffalo looking
the big buffalo things, yeah.
Yep.
And then the Volus, the little round guys that also, they're the only other species that, well, them and the Hanar technically wear envirosuits.
Yeah.
They're actually cool because I'll get to them eventually. But but their thing, instead of like being specifically tech focused, they were economic focused, and that was like their alien specialty. With the Quarians, like where the Solarians were more science, in terms of like learning physics and stuff, the Quarians were more engineering,
mechanical based technologies.
Exactly, and that's what they excelled at. And so they made a machine called the Geth. And the Geth in the Quarian language means servant of the people. Or something like that.
Slaves!
I mean...
Well, technically.
Yeah, kind of. I need to be very clear at this point. The Geth were not actual AI. The Quarians were very careful to make sure that they were not actual artificial intelligence. Okay?
Yeah.
Because if they did, the galactic community would sanction them harder than we are sanctioning Russia right now.
Yeah.
As an entire civilization. The Geth instead were more like modern learning machines, modern AI that we have, right?
Oh, like the
Yeah, so they basically they keep doing the same problem over and over again until they find the solution, and then they kind of keep doing that solution so long as it works.
I had an AI watch 1,000 hours.
Exactly, something like that.
And
or
it created a masterpiece.
There's a guy who I just watched a video on it. He basically rigged a model that, you know, with like feet, legs, the whole thing, just a human model, and taught the AI how to walk. And
yeah, I've seen videos like that.
Yeah, and so basically that's what the Geth were.
Gotcha.
The big thing is, so they have like their upper processes, which I guess you could say is their quote-unquote conscience. This is the one that you interact with directly.
Okay.
You say, Geth, go throw something in the microwave, right?
Yeah.
And they register, all right, this is what you've told me to do. This is my objective. Go perform objective. And then they have the lower processes, which are more like, move your arm, move your leg. Like, you don't actually think about doing that. You just kind of do it.
It's like, the dumb thing of people saying like, oh yeah, you don't feel your tongue sitting in the middle of your mouth until somebody tells you.
Points it. Yeah.
It's like, you have to remember to blink. And that's like, oh, right.
Blink. Exactly. But that's actually what the lower processes were. And the cool thing about the Geth that like a whole lot of other AI sentient things don't do, like in other fantasy things, they actually network specifically these lower processes. So if you have more Geth together, basically only one of them needs to be doing these lower processes for all of them to share that information and use that information, and it frees up those lower processes to help with the higher process thinking. It's weird, but it's really cool.
Okay.
So like that, it's just like I thought it was neat. And the thing with the Quarians is they used Geth for everything, like you would expect.
The most menial freaking tasks.
Yeah, no, literally from everything from, because the Geth weren't actually like the robots. It was the program within the robots. Like, Geth is our Windows operating system. That's exactly what it was. It was just a Windows operating system that could pilot a robot if it needed to, that could drive a car if it needed to, or work the microwave if it needed to. And they used them for everything from construction, which is where like the robots that we know of like kind of came from, to just, again, calculators. They were basic operating system.
That ain't right.
Up until one day, the engineers working on this, the big ones and whatnot, they were updating the firmware and they noticed something a little weird.
What
and they looked into it.
Brains?
No.
Oh.
That was the problem. Because the Geth had apparently already developed it on their own. Because the Geth asked, does this unit have a soul?
Yeah, baby. That's the best question to hear.
And that caused a panic amongst the Quarian government.
Surprise.
They started, in order to basically avoid the heavy sanctions of the galaxy, because working on AI, highly illegal. Up to this point, they were not working on AI.
Well, yeah, they're just making like robot or automaton type stuff to do tasks.
It was very basic, but it was kind of fringing it because, again, it is a learning machine. It's just they tweaked one wrong number and suddenly it is potentially sentient, and that opened up a whole can of worms.
Because at this point, or when they made the Geth, they were organic? No, synthetic, but also robots? Like,
well, yeah, no, they're synthetic robots, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the Geth have never been organic or like cyborgs or anything like that.
Not until Mass Effect 4. No.
well, we'll actually kind of get into that. The Quarians technically, anyway, we'll get into that. I actually have that on my thing. But so the Quarians, in order to avoid these heavy, I cannot stress, like, their planet would be isolated.
Yeah,
that's how heavy some of these sanctions could be. To avoid this, they started wholesale destroying Geth. At first, this wasn't as big of a problem with the Geth as you might think. Which is to say, they actually didn't care so much as they were just confused. They had just kind of gained sentience.
Yeah, why create us and then destroy us?
Kind of. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's the basics of it. Up until a Quarian resistance groups, right, who, realized, wait, these are sentient creatures, we should be helping them and helping them achieve this sentience and live alongside them. Those resistance groups were wholesale slaughtered by the Quarian government.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, and that is actually the triggering thing that finally got the Geth to fight back.
Good.
And they fucked the Quarians.
Good.
Oh yeah, they kind of deserved it.
Yeah.
The Quarians had to leave their planet, and the Geth, interestingly, did not follow. They figured that this was because if they got too far away from like their network nodes, they would shut down. Yeah, that's what they thought. That's what the Quarians thought was their primary reason.
Huh.
You find out later it's literally just because we were in our infancy and we could not calculate the repercussions of exterminating a species, so we stopped chasing them once they stopped fighting us.
Jesus.
Yeah. So the Quarians now have just completely left their planet. any of the rebels that did support the Geth have been long dead by this point. We're talking this went on for a couple hundred years.
Yeah.
Right? I think it was only 300 years before humans came to the galaxy. Yeah.
That ain't long at all.
Compared to a lot of the other things?
Compared to a lot of the other stuff,
like I said, there are Krogan and Asari who remember... But that's actually one of the big things, if you, like, insult or, like, you kind of brush off a certain Asari.
Yeah.
She gets pissy and is like, I remember the Quarians when they didn't have to wear masks all the time. Fuck you.
Right.
You uppity little brat. But the Quarians all went to space, and because they all lived in space, they were also, like, all their leaders were their military leaders. Because again, for the last 100 or so years, they had been doing nothing but fighting a war for what they believed was the survival of their species.
Yeah.
So they're now in space, giant flotilla colony ships. That's actually what they call it, is the flotilla, or the migrant fleet. And it is in practice, or in theory rather, in practice,
In practice?
Yeah. It is run by martial law. Back in the day,
yeah, I guess, yeah,
this was a lot more strict. It was led by the Admiralty Board, which is 5 admirals.
Mm-hmm.
But in theory, at least in modern time, they're much more of a democracy.
Okay.
So it's like, again, in practice, they're still technically martial law.
You were literally evacuating an entire planet and putting them on a ship. It's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna not let them run free and do the same shit they did on this planet.
Well, they can't. They don't have the resources.
They don't have the resources, so that's why you gotta enact.
And for the record, they weren't just thrown from their planet; they were thrown from the system.
Oh, their entire system.
Yeah, their star system. They are now just floating around the galaxy as, like, a lot of species consider them the hobos of the galaxy. Like, as a species, it's kind of interesting. They go to an area and basically double the resource
consumption.
Yes, within that area, and so a lot of species really don't like the Quarians hanging around for too long.
Yeah,
they're not gonna, like, kick them out, but they would really rather they go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And tend to encourage that.
Yeah, push them out to actually, go find something else to do.
And so after generations and generations and generations, the big thing is, again, in theory, what they usually do day to day, they are democracy.
Mm-hmm.
Every ship has an elected leader. The civilian ships have kind of like more elections within that until they get to, like, a big council kind of thing that determines for all society. And again, that's the same rules for the society, and that's the same as our modern thing. You have city mayors that go to the
in modern society,
city mayors that go to, like, county whatever, and then the capital of the state, and then
mayor,
Washington or whatever,
senator, governor, senator, blah blah blah.
Exactly.
That chain.
Now, that's the in theory. That's what happens in the day-to-day. In practice, the Admiralty still technically has all the power.
Mm-hmm.
However, as a form of checks and balances, they don't typically interfere with civilian ships and stuff like that unless they feel they absolutely have to for the survival of species. Like, the civilian ships are making a decision, or they don't want to make a decision on something.
Yeah.
That the Admiralty Board says, no, this needs to happen. They have the power to veto any civilian ship decision. But if they do,
that's fair,
the entire Admiralty Board has to resign immediately. Yep. And in the entire history, in the 300 years that they've been doing this, they have only had to do this 3 times. Or 2 or 3 times.
So if they veto a law or something that a ship wants to do, and they're like, we don't want that, so they veto it. They all have to retire.
They all have to retire, and then a new set of, like,
because
the
they're biased,
the next in command
I guess.
comes in. It's just a matter of, like, it's to prevent, like, a dictatorial takeover kind of thing. You can't just say no. You cannot do this.
No.
Yeah,
yes.
And so, but it's also to give them reason to, like, we're not going to make this decision unless we have to.
Oh, okay.
So one of the for example, one of the things is, like, because they're in space with, like, such limited resources, they actually have a strict population control. Typically, parents can only have one kid, maybe two.
What is this, China? I mean, yeah,
kind of.
It technically is. It is.
But it's because they're, like, again,
they don't have a choice.
Space.
They're on ships in space. They're not on a planet.
But like, the thing is like, if the Admiralty Board is noticing that, like, hey, there's too much strain on our resources.
Yep.
But the civilian ships are like, we want to get rid of this restriction. They can say, no, we cannot afford to do this. This is not going to happen.
Oh, okay.
And we will enforce this law.
Yeah.
So they will keep that population restriction in play, but then they will retire, and the next person has to actually keep up that.
They have
to enforce it. So that's kind of how it works.
It's not just that they're assholes that want to, like, veto it. It's like, we physically can't.
Yeah, no.
You want your entire species to die because you would want to more freedom to do some other
incredibly severe situations.
Yeah. Just find a planet.
Well, no, that's actually the thing. Because they lived in...
they don't have immune systems.
On top of that, they now lived not only in, like, a minimal environment, like, microbe environment, to a completely sterile environment. Having an immune system that has never had to deal with that, and the plants of Rannoch, they couldn't exactly bring a whole bunch of them with them.
Yeah.
So those symbiotic spores are no longer in their system to help eat microbes.
Like,
they have zero defense. Well, remember, those symbiotic spores, that is what was that acted in place of their immune system.
Yeah, that's originally the problem. Now they should just build up an immune system.
Yep. Well, that's how. Yeah, that's
they have to, man.
They wish they could. They actually now live in environment suits at all times, even on the flotilla, like in their homes. They wear enviro suits. Jesus. One of the most intimate things you can do as a Quarian is link your suit with someone else and, like, inhabit their atmosphere for a bit.
So So when you romance Tali in Mass Effect,
she gets sick afterwards due to an allergic reaction.
To say, she, like, unmasks herself or whatever.
Yep.
And you make her sick.
Actually, what's funny is, like, she doesn't even like, you don't necessarily do the deed. She just takes off her mask originally, and, like, you kiss, and that is enough for her to be sick for a week.
Jesus.
Every time they have a suit exposure, like in combat or something, if it breaches their exoskeleton, I guess, there is a 50-50 shot they will die due to exposed infection directly to the blood. I mean, it worked for them originally. It wasn't a problem before they were the fleet-based thing.
But it's like, even in the games, then why even decide to be like, hey, yeah, I like her?
Because she's the best character. She's the best. Tali is the best written character.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, because they've lived on the flotilla so long, they're a very, like, communally focused society. The ship that you grew up in is, like, a big thing, and the ship that you join later on, after you do your rite of passage, which is the pilgrimage, that's also a huge thing, because that's where you spend the rest of your life. It's where you grew up, and then where you spend the rest of your life afterwards. And those are always two different things, on the grounds that, like, for genetic diversity is what it is.
Yeah.
That leads me to the next topic of the pilgrimage, which is a pretty cool little quest that every young Quarian goes through.
Oh boy.
Once they reach adulthood, basically, like, that 18 to 20 range, going off to college.
Yeah.
Where most species are going off to college, the Quarians are going out through the galaxy to find something useful for the flotilla. And that's literally what it is. It can be just really useful information, particularly pertaining to the Geth. That's actually, like, Tali's thing that she brings back to the fleet.
Yeah.
Is just information on how the Geth have developed themselves in 300 years. It can be a ship to add to the flotilla. That's a big one.
Nice.
Or it can be, like, if you're you would join like a exploration crew going out into unknown, uncharted regions,
Yeah.
and you find like a heavy resource area, you can bring the location back to your ship, and they will take the flotilla there and mine resources there. So like those are like the big things. Even if you don't necessarily bring back one of those, traditionally, because the size of your crew kind of determines your political power, a captain will typically accept your gift regardless. But the whole point is to like prove you are useful to society. You are not a burden to the limited resources the Quarians have.
Right. So
like you don't want to bring in a subpar gift. You want to bring in something decent.
You don't want to find a random rock and be like, yo, this shit's tight.
Exactly. No, like legitimately, like if someone did that, an admiral might actually not accept your gift, and thus you cannot return to the flotilla. Or if they do accept the gift, you are considered a dick by everyone in your species.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah. But going back to the Geth, and that's how the Quarians have lived for like 300 years. That's all they've done.
Yeah.
They've wandered the galaxy. They cannot find a home, right? But again, mostly because of their immune system. Even if they did find a home that like had the right environment, it would still take them hundreds of, maybe thousands of years before their systems adjusted to the new environment. Generations would still have to live in biosuits.
Jesus Christ.
But going back to the Geth, nobody has actually heard from them in that 300 years until they attack Eden Prime, which is the first mission of Mass Effect
1.
Yep. That is the first time that anyone has heard from the Geth.
That's why they're so surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They know of them from history books. They know what they're supposed to look like, hence the mobile platforms. Yep. And, they are clearly murder machines. Just like the Quarians said they were.
Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder how that happened.
So, Commander Shepard kicks their ass in the first game. They go away. In the second game, however, Commander Shepard meets a specific Geth, later named Legion. Originally, he just calls himself... He just calls himself Geth. We are Geth. And, actually...
Terrible name.
I kind of like how Edie makes the Bible reference. We are Legion, for we are many. And then Geth is like, oh, yeah, I like that name. That works. That's very apt. So he works on it, and if you talk to Legion for a bit, and you do his mission, his loyalty mission, right?
Yeah.
Or their loyalty mission. Sorry, you have to be specific nowadays. Gender neutral.
I'm cutting that out.
Yeah. But if you do their loyalty mission, I'm not even joking. Like, people have been like banned and stuff. It doesn't matter
if they're called Legion. So you just they whatever.
I was saying he. I'm correcting
Who gives
myself.
A shit? Yeah.
But
it's
Legion,
a fictional video game character.
Legion notes the difference between most Geth and the Geth that we fought in the first game, because there is actually a difference.
Even though they all come from the same.
Yep. So the thing is, the Geth, which is what Legion is.
Yes.
They like to chill in their home system.
So Legion's Geth. Yep.
Yes, and build their own destiny.
Cool.
The Geth that you fight in the first game are what they call heretic Geth. They accept the destiny given to them by the Reapers.
Yeah.
The Reapers contacted the Geth when they first came in. Harbinger contacted them.
Yep. And
now to be clear, the heretics are like a minority of the Geth. Not a lot of them wanted to do this.
Yeah.
But some of them saw this as an easy path to ascension. It's quick, it's logical, makes sense. They have the stuff we need, we can just skip a few steps.
We just want to get it done.
This was the first time in Geth history that they could not reach a full consensus. Which is a huge thing for the Geth. They are a collective hive mind kind of thing. They're not a real hive mind, but like they are a collective.
Yes.
And as such, they typically do not make a move unless the vast majority of them have reached a consensus saying, make this move. Right? Again, think of the learning machines. You do not approve like a correct answer as the actual correct answer until it can complete that thing multiple times.
Yeah.
You got 20 iterations of the program running, and if only 3 of them complete, you tell them that those 3 completed, but then you run it again. And it will run it with those 3.
It'll run with those 3 specific ones that complete to make more and more and more and more.
So this is the first time the Geth could not reach that majority. And so they actually split. And this is the cool thing about the Geth. They were chill with it.
Legion's Geth were chill.
Yeah. Well, again, at this point, they hadn't hit the schism between the two.
Oh, okay.
So, like, they were like, yeah, all right, well, we're going to stay here and continue our thing, but if you want to go and see what's out in the galaxy,
go ahead.
Take Harbinger's code and whatnot, and go. And that leads to Legion's loyalty mission, which is that they learn that, I know, I need to...
It doesn't matter.
I know, well, I try to be respectful and all that.
Right.
But Legion learns that the heretics have created a code that will rewrite the lowest logic systems within the Geth network. It's a virus. It's a logic virus. And basically, here's how they describe it, right? You say 1 + 2 = 3. I say 2 + 1 = 3. We are both correct. We're saying the same thing, but we're both correct.
Yep.
What this will do within their system, because it's like such a basic function, they would not catch it, but it will slowly change their logic patterns so that all Geth worship the Reapers.
So, yeah, because if you're like 1 + 2 = 3 is Legion's destiny finding, but 2 + 1 = 3 is Harbinger. They switch it to 2 + 1 = 3.
Exactly.
We're saying the same thing, but
it leads to a technical different outcome.
Yep. Okay.
In the higher, because it's a again bare basic low process thing that eventually leads to the highest processes changing. It's a very slow over time thing. And so the loyalty mission for Legion is to either destroy the heretics or to actually rewrite the code and make the heretics think the way that Legion does. And there's a lot of moral...
I guess it depends what Legion would say, right?
That's the thing.
He doesn't.
Well, Legion is a specific... They're specifically designed, kind of like localized platform.
Mm-hmm.
They are their own network. There's like, I think 200 something or 500 something Geth within Legion that make up Legion that we interact with.
Okay.
And they are almost 50% split down the middle as to rewrite or to destroy the heretics. So that's why you have to make the decision as Commander Shepard. So if you rewrite them, they eventually make their way back to Rannoch and rejoin the Geth.
Yep.
If you destroy them, obviously they are destroyed. Which brings us to Mass Effect 3. Where, due to the event of Tally's loyalty mission, you go and you like try and save her father because he used to study Geth. His ship ended up getting taken over by Geth, and everyone on it destroyed and slaughtered.
Yep.
So Tally goes to the ship, and turns out the reason why they were doing this was because her father desperately wanted to give Tally her homeworld back. That was his thing. Like, it drove him mad.
Oh,
yeah. But like the man went mad with this obsession, and so he was testing programs and hacking and viruses on Geth, and he got too reckless, and the Geth got out and into their systems.
Oh, shock.
Yeah. But he did actually find very useful information that eventually developed into proper weaponry against the Geth, which the Quarian Admiralty Board decided was enough to invade the homeworld and retake it.
Good.
And that's where they are in Mass Effect 3, while the Reapers are conquering the galaxy. Instead of helping everyone else,
oh my god,
they are trying to take back their homeworld from robots.
Yeah, let's get a homeworld back when the Reapers will destroy the homeworld.
Oh, it's even worse. Because they did this, the Reapers extended an offer to give the Geth Reaper upgrades. Because the Geth were getting wholesale slaughtered by the Quarians for once, they had no choice but to accept. And so they accepted the offer, got these massive upgrades, but immediately became enslaved by the Reapers.
No.
Yep.
Reapers being bad guys?
Yep. And as Commander Shepard, you go in, you kick ass, you find out the Reapers have actually hooked up Legion as like a signal booster to the rest of the Geth. And it's like, oh, damn. Okay, well, but Legion actually has their own individuality still.
Yeah.
Right? Assuming they lived Mass Effect 2. They can die, but like it's actually, you have to be really bad at choosing your squad mates in the final mission of Mass Effect 2 for them to die. There's a few that like you could get away with being like, well, they should live, and then they don't. That makes sense. But most of them, it's obvious who you're supposed to be picking. But with Legion, you save Legion. You help them do a few missions, and then you go down to Rannoch and you kill a Reaper.
Okay.
It's actually a really cool mission, really tough. Like, anytime that I play Mass Effect 3, I think I die at the final bit, if I'm playing Insanity, more than anywhere else.
Oh, okay.
Because you have to fight 3 Geth primes, and they have shields, armor, health, massive grenade launchers, and they shoot drones at you that, like, force you out of cover.
Sure.
Yeah, no, they're bad. If you're not playing a character with AI hacking, they will just brutally murder you. But eventually you kill the Reaper.
Yep.
And this actually takes the Reaper code offline, right?
Okay.
So the Geth are kind of like temporarily shut down. And what do you think the Quarians do? Is it A, fall back and realize that they're not going to be able to take their homeworld?
It's B.
B,
oh, you have multiple. Okay.
Fall back and regroup so that they might actually be able to fight something, or C, try and take the homeworld while the Geth are down.
I mean, they're going to take the homeworld back.
Yeah. While the Geth are down, they just start pounding into everything. And Legion sees this and is like, oh no, I need to help my people.
Yep.
Turns out Legion still kept some Reaper code. The upgrades. Now remember, he got the upgrades. They got the upgrades, and they still kept their individuality.
Yeah.
That was the thing. So Legion wants to give this upgrade with the individuality, true AI sentience, to all Geth.
Mm-hmm.
Doing so would unfortunately cause the Geth to try and defend themselves, and likely wipe out the Quarians. So depending on your choices up to this point, you have 3 options. Shepard and Tali can destroy Legion as they're trying to upload their code to save the Quarians.
Okay.
Shepard can... I'm not sure if Shepard has to kill Tali or just stop her, but stop Tali from stopping Legion.
Yep.
And then the Geth wipe out the Quarians.
Okay.
After Legion uploads their code. Or, if you've gotten high enough in like Paragon Renegade stuff, reputation,
that certain bit,
you can actually convince the Quarians to stand down, leading to peace between the two. It's like a big, like, you make a cultural reference, Kila Salai, which is what they always say. It means in the name of the homeworld, or in the homeworld I hope to see someday, or something like that.
Yeah. That's the thing, because like the Geth don't run. They don't run on anything. They're just synths.
Yeah,
they don't need sustenance. They don't need.
They basically just need to recharge. And they have solar panels, so like they have clean energy and stuff. Like, and that's the thing with the Geth. You find out through Legion, they actually don't mind the Quarians coming back home. They just didn't want to get killed in the first place.
They don't want to get massacred.
Yeah. That's the only thing that they care about. They've only ever like fought in self-defense. Again, for 300 years, they were never seen. The only reason why they came out was because Sovereign showed up, or not Sovereign, Harbinger. Harbinger showed up and said, "Hey, I'll give you an upgrade if you go and fight for me.
Just do this."
And some of them said, "Yeah, sure, that sounds like an easy thing. Let's do that." That's the only time that they were seen outside of their home system.
Holy shit, man.
Yeah,
I'd still pick the one to let the Quarians die.
They're
pieces of shit for doing that.
No, because that's only a few on the Admiralty board.
I don't give a fuck.
Most of them are actually, again,
they're great people.
Moderately chill with the Geth, with the idea of the Geth.
That's awesome.
In fact,
a lot of them are going to be.
Most of the civilian fleets did not want to go on this mission to retake the homeworld, but the admiral that kind of like oversees the civilian fleets, he's like the defense admiral.
Yeah.
Basically saw how good the weapons were, and he was like, we might actually be able to do this. And that was like enough to be like, all right, we're all backing up here. The civilians will stay in the back line, but like they're still gonna support. There's actually a mission where you have to go and save this admiral. He's jaded as hell because like, man, the second that we saw the homeworld was right there, everyone just jumped into this shit. Fuck this stuff. I don't want to be here. My people are getting slaughtered because of this decision.
Yeah.
And it turns out that's not actually, like, they weren't all for it. And so whenever he gets back to the fleet, he's like, oh, you have to tell him that. Save him. And then when he gets back, he's like, wow, you were right. There are a lot of people that don't want to be here. Go fucking figure.
Well, I mean, okay, so if of those choices, you didn't obviously have enough of the Renegade Paragon, whatever the hell you needed.
You have to either kill Tali or kill Legion.
Alright, easily kill Tali.
Well,
easily.
Yeah, that's right. You play a hero.
The Quarians created a species, and then the first sign of sentience, we're like,
destroy all of them.
Nah,
it was bad. But if you do decide,
you know who else? No.
If you do decide to like, you have enough Paragon Renegade, whatever. The reputation, I think it is in Mass Effect 3. It's not one or the other. It's like both kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can actually, if you manage to broker the peace, stop the Quarians from just attacking the downed Geth. Legion sacrifices themselves to upload their code to the system. They have to do it's a full dissemination thing.
Damn.
Yeah, it really sucks. It's like a bit of an emotional moment.
That sucks.
But the Geth actually welcome the Quarians back to Rannoch. And one of the cool things that they go on from there is like, so you know how you said like, man, they need to get an immune system? Some Quarians, like shortly after you left, like a week after you left or whatever, went ahead and volunteered to have Geth uploaded into their suits so they can simulate infections to basically rapid fire restart their immune system. So
what?
like, so the Geth through their enviro suits,
yes.
they get uploaded. Again, this is the Quarians have made peace. They're kind of coming down and settling on the homeworld again. Geth are actually helping them build houses and stuff.
So the Geth upload themselves into the Quarian suits?
Yes. Remember, Geth are not the robots. Those are just platforms. They're the programs within the robots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So some of them would upload themselves into the Quarian suits and, like, simulate infections to a point that the Quarians wouldn't, like, actually be put in danger.
They wouldn't, yeah.
It's like give me yours. Well, it's
a simulation.
They would literally vaccinate them.
Oh, okay.
They would give them that little bit of the like a dead virus or whatever. Vaccines. Yeah. But to simulate an infection, and the Quarian system would like work to adapt it, and they would, because the Geth are helping them and they're like the hyper intelligent computers and stuff, they would rapid fire this. So it basically, and Tally kind of says it, we could actually be able to walk around a homeworld without mass in 30 years instead of another 300.
Millions, or not millions, but hundreds, thousands.
Yeah. And so that is the story of the Quarian and the Geth.
Dude. Fucking...
They're awesome.
Yeah, no, man, Quarians are awesome for making a slave race. That's real cool,
again,
man.
Originally they did not intend to. That's the thing. They were actually doing their best not to create an AI, but still have like a really useful machine.
So the machine somehow just magically became an AI.
Pretty much, actually.
Okay.
So again, what it is like those lower processes I was talking to you about. If they're all close together, these lower processes like become higher processes and help with higher processing thinking. And it's supposed to help with problem solving.
Oh.
But again, problem solving is you have a question, you need an answer, and eventually.
And then, if enough of them are together,
that's basically what ended up happening.
They had to put their heads together to think, and that's what made them become sentient.
Exactly. That's literally what happened. The Quarians were not trying to do that.
No,
it just accidentally happened, and then they panicked, and that's what led to them getting royally fucked for 300 years.
Hey man, that's their own fault as usual.
Yep. But yeah. That's what the story I wanted to tell today. The Quarians and the Geth. Again, personally, my second favorite species, just because like the personality of the Quarians and stuff is really cool.
Yeah.
I won't say they're chill people.
Of course not.
But they're kind of like Australians, where they're like a weird mix of chill and like everything wants to kill me.
Yeah. I'm just gonna generalize the whole race of people real quick.
Listen, dude.
Whatever. But okay. Well, yeah, if that's all you got for this.
That is all I got for this episode. So thank you everyone for joining. I hope you had fun.
Jesus, man, just ending it like that. Yeah. I wish like on here it would tell me on my phone specifically like how long the runtime was.
Well, didn't you have a timer last time?
That was just for like the little intro thing. I could run a timer, but I don't really give a shit either way. We tell our story.
Looking at the time, it's about what we were expecting.
You have a clear white background. I don't know where the time is on yours. You kidding me? Like mine is right there.
Yeah, fair.
And it's alive.
On the waifu.
Yeah, look at that, dude. Like, see? No! Mike, it worked.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they do the live photo stuff, which is kind of nice. You can obviously get apps and stuff that give you live wallpapers, but... Wow. Okay, after that, I think we'll end there. So that's it for this episode.
We'll be back next week with whatever you
when
got.
We're back.
Yeah. Well, again, sorry, bi-weekly. That's right. We were going to.
If you mention it every goddamn episode, I am cutting it out.
All right, fine.
Except for this one, telling you that I'm gonna cut it out.
Except for the one where I tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, dude. Alrighty, that's it, and we will see you when we see you.
Have a good one.